Hello and welcome back to Alex Goes Sailing. This episode I'm going to be getting some plumbing done. Alright, coming back inside the boat, and I've done a little bit of work in this toilet area. So, sanded everything up, did a bit of glassing and tabbing because I wasn't quite happy with it. So we tabbed up some areas on each side there, so it's nice and solid. I removed the toilet pipe because that kind of went up and then back under and up to here. I removed the junction here. I've given that a right clean up, and I'll probably replace this pipe at some point, but not initially, because I need to figure out the length and where it runs and stuff. But I've got all the other hose to do the loop to the toilet, that'll be there, and I've got the run that comes out of there. And then I might even have extra to do that little run, but then there's a long run that goes to the bow of the boat to empty the holding tank. And then I also needed a run of a similar kind of size pipe for the water fill for the water tank that's there. But for now, I'm going to get this all painted up. I'm going to try and paint down in the very bottom as well. It's kind of as clean and as dry as it's going to get. I'm sure a bit of dust won't hurt. But I prepped it, sanded it, wire wheeled it, and to get in all this bit of imperfection, so you can't really sand it, and it's not the thickest of stuff, so we're going to get some paint on it and it's going to look pretty nice, and then we can install the toilet finally. And the paint I'm going to be using is this Belgian locker paint in white, and this is kindly sponsored to me by Vision Marine. They sponsored me for a few other bits on this boat, so head over to their website. I'll leave a link in the description. Alright, let's get to painting and get cracking. Look at that fresh lick of paint in there, and I've just placed the electric macerator motor thing converter for the toilet bowl, the original one. I had to be very low profile because this isn't a very deep depth, and it'd be very difficult to lower that floor any lower. There's a little seal on here, a gasket seal. Hopefully that'll seal it good enough. This is the outlet for all the brown stuff. This is the inlet, and then this goes up to the rinser, toilet bowl rinser, to feed it into the toilet bowl. Got the power here. I've got the power wires coming through. We'll run them nice and neat over to this side. Thought having it this side round. It's going to be a little bit tight with this cover fitting on, but I don't really care about the cover. I care about the toilet being in the middle. We can always trim it down a touch. But I've got new hose. This is the thick hose. Daniel's making a right racket over there, and then this is the smaller diameter, and the kit comes with this adapter just in case you have the bigger diameter pipe, which I've got. Runs into that little diverter valve, which will be going back in here. I'm going to try and replace this pipe as well. And we're also going to be using 2 Jubilee clips to secure it all, so it's nice and safe, and going into the through hole, which is just down there. So I'm going to pre-cut some of the pipes. I'm going to pre-drill the holes, and then I will show you me assembling it all. I've also got to figure out where this switch is going to be mounted, because I can't really have it outside. I could try and like fit it in the wall, but I don't want it to be accidentally pressed and the toilet to just go. So yeah, that's the least of worries. Even if I got it somewhere mounted on a little bracket out to the side here, maybe that might be a good idea, a little bracket. So we'll figure that one out. So I have the toilet a bit more situated, clamped on a few things. Just need to attach this this pipe back here, and hook up the outlet pipe there. You can see we've got it running down the side here. It's just needs to be bent around into place. Also need to throw a clamp on there, and then wiring wise, I've come up with this little bracket. So holds the switch on, easy access, runs the wires out. I'm just going to screw it on just underneath here, so it's out of the way. It can't be pressed by that. It's not blocking access to the handle in there or anything else, and it's 3 screws to remove, so nice and easy. And then we can just hook up the wires following this little wiring diagram, so quite easy. and then that's the toilet pretty much done. We can run a quick test. Put some water down here. It'll trickle down to the through hole, which brings in the salt water. You can pick which one you get, so fresh or salt. You just have to pump this beforehand, and then that can pump through, and we'll see if everything is sealed up properly, and then if it actually pumps what it's meant to do. And well, I'm not going to test it since we're in the garden, but yeah, as long as it's sealed up nice, that's all that matters. Right, I've hooked everything up, done a bit of wiring, got a fuse in there as well, which is good. I need to hook up that top hose, but I think I'm going to change it. But I need to get some Jubilee clips as we're running short and the wrong sizes. But everything's hooked up now. I've just topped up the bowl for the water, and that's now followed down to the pipe. And all I've got to do is hit pump. Like that, and you see the water shoot down. That's it again, gone. Not crazy loud, it's just loud when it runs out of water and stuff to pump. Very quick, very powerful. Barely have to touch the button. Way better. And then we're out of water. So most of the time it'd be salt, but we can go fresh. If we're going to leave the boat for a while, just before we pull out of the water, just to make sure that all the pipes stay nice and clean and all of that. It's better with fresh water than the salt water. I'm quite happy we've got this situated. I'm going to change out these pipes anyway and rearrange in here and sort out in there, but it's pretty much done. I'm going to fit the toilet seat. A bit difficult. I might have to like do some sanding on it or something to make it fix. It's very low profile, but yeah, works very well. I'm quite happy. I think we need to put a loo roll holder in it as well somewhere, but overall quite a neat and tidy job. And I'm glad I can finally use a toilet on a boat without having to use a manual pump, which is not very easy. Alright, so I've got Daniel lending a hand removing this metal through hull. He likes challenges, so I could be asked, so Daniel's cracking on with it. He's doing relief drills into the nuts, which look like that, because the bolts are too strong. So it kind of like slips off the side and just goes down the nut, and then you can undo the nut. So that's what he's doing down there. And hopefully it comes out. It's out. Grinded the top right off, or the bottom rather. And that's the wooden rotten plate that it's mounted to. So clearly it was bolted onto this plate. Plate was put on, and that was threaded in. So it's out now. With a lot of persuasion. What do you think, Daniel?
It was a pain in the arse, but other than that, came out alright.
With a hammer and angle grinder and multi-tool and
no damage,
screwdrivers and Dremels and...
But we didn't break anything.
Well, apart from this, but I mean...
We meant to break that.
We meant to break this. Well, at least that job's done now. I can put the new one. The new True Design one from the Vision Marine lot. Here I have a bunch of True Design bits and bobs through hull, and this is going to go right down here. This is the salt water intake for the sink. I kind of would rather just have the fresh water, but having the salt water is going to be handy to conserve water since we can't really carry too much. And this is kindly being sent over by the guys at Vision Marine, and we're going to get this fitted. So there's nice handy instructions here on how to fit it, nice little pictures too. So I'm going to figure it out. Main thing is where to cut this if you need to cut it at all. So we're going to do a dry test fit, and then we'll actually stick it in with some good stuff. Right, we're also going to glob on a bunch of this Silica Effects 291i, and that's going to seal it up, also from Vision Marine. So we're going to glob that on, and then at the same time we're also going to do this is for the sonar depth transducer. We're going to glob that on, and I'm going to go underneath, stick it up from the inside. Daniel's going to throw on the nuts and this like washer rubbery thing, and the same over here. He's going to also put some sealant around it as well from the inside. So let's get cracking. see in my messy build, I've got the True Design collar supplied by Vision Marine kindly, and that just pops over there. And what we've got to do is follow the instructions. Very easy. We've got the 3/4 inch, maximum 20mm, minimum 15mm. I measured the depth using the little depth gauge here, and it measured 42mm from the top to the bottom of the top side of this nut down here. So that's where they want you to measure it from, up to the top. So that's 42. So that means I've got to remove about 22mm initially. We'll see how that gets me. So I'm going to use the multi-tool because, well, it's the easiest way to do it in there rather than getting a hacksaw out. Then while I was at it, I also popped in this transducer from Marine, so that's nicely in there because we did change out this fitting, although it was the same one. I thought, why not, since I'm doing this one, might as well reseat it and rebed it. Then I know for sure it's good to go. Right, easy as that, lopped it off. Let's check the depth now. So we're at 22mm, so I'll give it another thread off and see where we're at. Right, just checked it again, and that one is at 19mm. Right, so I'm quite happy with that. So what I'm going to do now is just get rid of some of this crud that's around here, make sure it's clean. Then we can put this collar on, which spreads the load, makes it a bit stronger if I end up putting bits and bobs in here. Doesn't matter if it gets knocked as much. And then once we've got that in place, we can actually install this ball valve. And then we've also got this little adapter on it, this little barb adapter, which goes to the right pipe diameter to run up to my saltwater tap. Right, just got a bit of sealant on the inside there, and a touch on the threads down there. So all I'm gonna do is remember to put the collar on and then thread that on. Right, that's completely in now. Got good leverage on this. This raised edge here doesn't matter too much. Bright and clear. Low profile. Very solid. I can't wriggle that. No movement side to side. I think in the manual or in the instruction booklet on the other side it states with a load bearing collar added to the assembly of the skin fitting ball valve, the assembly will now withstand 227 kilograms of load, or 500 pounds, applied to the tail inboard end for a minimum of 30 seconds. So that's like, what, 3 of me or something pushing on the end of that. And may I just say, this is a complete and utter mess, but a productive mess. And we've got, I'm gonna try and go this weekend for a sail if I can get this ship shape. Just finished the toilet. I don't know whether you would have seen that. The electronics are pretty much there. Yeah, might be another mad rush, but I'll be sailing very, very soon. And we can see we've got this. This is a water filter. Now the idea of this is to make the water that comes out of that tank in there taste good, like water should. And that just goes in line. Nice little diagram. So that I get hooked up. Got fresh new hose to run that. Then we also got this little T-piece, because in this boat the plumbing system is in the owner's manual and it's pretty much how it was. And we've got a saltwater tap and a freshwater tap there. We've installed that fitting there, which is for the saltwater through hull. So that'll be the intake for the saltwater tap there. And then running down here as well, we've got another hose tucked in there. You can see it teeing off. That top piece up there goes up to the freshwater tap. The other piece loops around down there to the sink that's just down there to that tap. So that's fresh water, and that also can drain to the toilet to feed that if it needs to be, the wastewater, or straight out of the boat. But that's fresh water down there, and then the other end of the T-piece runs in and joins onto the tank. So one line coming out of the tank splits off to the freshwater taps. And then there's also the fill and the fill itself kind of runs up there and actually comes out on deck to the water fill. So if I move some of this stuff out of the way. So that's the water tank. You can see the fill hose coming in. That's going to get changed because I bet that's half the reason why the tank water isn't the best. And down there you can barely see, that is where the water comes out. Now, if we open up the tank itself, first time I've had an inbuilt fiberglass tank rather than a bladder like we had on Meraki, or just water bottles like I had on Masumi. And pull that off. I don't think there's any water in here. I don't think there should be. And get some light. Well, there's some light. So this is the water tank. You can see it's been painted before, but just look at that, it's not the best. And you can see down there is like a baffle kind of in place, which also makes it a bit difficult to try and paint and clean back there. So I think the plan for the water tank is give it a really good scrub, see if I can make it nice, change all the pipes, see if that helps with the water quality, and hopefully the water filter helps a lot because removes unpleasant taste and smells from water on board tanks, remove nasty taste and smells, said it kind of twice. Silverized carbon filter something, maintenance free, mounted vertical, horizontal, simple, blah 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 blah, and change it every season. So that's enough waffle, and let's get cracking. Right, have my bundle of hose. Got the old hose, and something a bit funny is they've used a lot of these 90-degree elbow things to join the pipes together. So there's a join there, there's a join next to the toilet, just where it comes back in and up to the tap. I don't see a reason why they would have done that, apart from maybe making it easier to feed the pipes through, possibly. So let's give this a try and fingers crossed. That was actually much easier than I thought it'd be, and electrical tape worked. Wonderful. Right, I've just pulled off the water fill, and just looking in the end of it, I don't know if you can see in there, look how mank it looks. Right, just been in the battles, oinked this thing right out. Look how mank that looks, just absolutely vile. And if we take a brief look down this end of the pipe, let's get the light perfect. You can see, ugh. Right, I have the fill connected. These white ones are an absolute pain to get on, and the white one up there to the fill is barely on, but I mean it's just the fill, so I might give it another go at some point trying to push that on, but for now it's good enough to fill up the tank. Now I've just got to run the freshwater line down to here, connect it up to the excess that's come from the front of the boat, and tee it off up to the tap. So yeah, I'm gonna get to cutting. Got my T-piece, so it should be a pretty easy install. We're gonna remember we're gonna fit the water filter as well, because we want to be able to filter all of the water that's going to the taps. So that's the plan. Alright, so we have them all connected up. Little T-junction for the fresh water. The salt water is connected. Just filling up the tank. Now with the fresh water coming out of the tap successfully, it's time for an unexpected upgrade that I managed to do. Right, so we have the outboard that came with the boat, 9.8 horsepower. It's got power tilt, which is this massive ram underneath here. steering, remote controls. You can see the up and down tilt there, very easy. But typically with this boat, I've seen, well, this boat before had a 20 horsepower, and you don't see many of these with a 9.8. It was fine, we did about 6-ish knots through the water. With this one, probably changing the prop to a different one would have helped, because these are usually propped for more like ribs and those kind of things, or lighter weight boats. So having a differently pitched prop, maybe having a 4-blade or something, more thrust, could have gone a bit faster, more efficient. But I managed to find something on Facebook Marketplace and I couldn't resist. To the shed we go. Another Tohatsu, and it's got fuel injection, whereas the other one's a carburetor. But this one is 20 horsepower, you can see. So a lot more juice, and it's still got the standard prop that comes with it. But this is a 2022 or 2021 year. The other one I think is like 2014 or 2016 or something. I think it's 2014, maybe a bit old, who knows. But this one has never been ran because the guy bought it, put it in his shed, and it's sat there ever since. So I've got a bit of a steal on this, and it's immaculate. So same length, still got the power tilt, the remote controls, a little steering bracket. It's got built-in charging as well. The other one does as well. Just check that out. It kicks out about 60 to 70 watts at idle. This one's probably a little bit more, probably closer to 100 watt. But we're going to get this installed, throw this up on the back of the boat, and see how we go on. Ready? What? The trailer. Yeah, I'm walking your way. Yeah. We're going all the way there. Right, we've got the new one. We've got to switch the handle to the other side. We just remove that nut out the middle, and then Daniel is going to try and do whatever that is. Okay, what the hell's that wire?
That's blind. I'm going to take those 2 screws off.
Yeah, I'm going to go get the instruction manual. Right, instruction manual it is. Right, so we've got to disconnect the up and down switch, and we open up the side panel, and we're just popping out these hoppers, and hopefully we can just switch the sides to have it come out through that gap. Well, I've now applied some grease. Daniel's going to whack some bits back together. Some block that interfaces with the handle. Does it have a direction?
Well, not particularly. I guess you go off that half circle with the half circle in the thing, because it just spines up with the handle.
Yeah, that looks about right.
And then that just sits in there. It's got 2 screws.
Which wire do we cut, Daniel?
And then red and green go together.
What?
Because that makes sense.
See, I told you, was it colour coded right?
And that should all tuck back in, and then that will neatly sit in
Neatly.
like that. That'll go on there, and then you'll put your bolt through.
No, yeah, no, you guide it. I'll squeeze this. Because this had to be squeezed. Don't forget to squeeze the handle.
And then we take our bolt, and then that goes straight through to the other side and threads into. And it's as easy as that to change the handle over.
Right, we've got stainless steel, nuts and bolts galore, and these are all to replace the bolts for the hammers on the side. So these are now Torx head. We did have a cross head. We've got nuts, washers, nylock, got all the relevant nuts and bolts. So if we go underneath here, you can see we've got the armour folded out. It's not folded out all the way, so it's a bit of an angle. But see these nuts and bolts here? Prehistoric, and they are a pain to tighten with a crosshead, and they come loose. So the nylock is definitely dead. So that's what we're going to be replacing. I think, well, Daniel's going to be replacing them. Luckily we got an impact. I did count how many there were, and it's over 100, so good luck. Now I didn't record the rest of the bolts getting changed out because quite frankly that is very boring and quite tedious, but we changed them all, and much better now they're not going to come loose, and they got fresh nylock on the nuts. So I won't have to worry about those coming loose and oblonging the holes, which won't be very good because we don't want movement in the hinges. But with that all done, the boat is pretty much ready to go out sailing. We're going to do a few jobs on the water, but it's time to hit the water. The sun is out. So that's it for this episode, and I will see you in the next one.